Peace and great morning, kings and queens. It's another motivation, money-making Monday. Peace and great day, kings and queens. It's another motivation, money-making Monday, where it's not about the day, it's about the mindset. Staying motivated, staying disciplined, highlighting great figures within our community, great institutions, great businesses, and sitting down with the people that's really the movers and shakers of our community. Today I had the opportunity to sit down with We Are Revolution and the founder, Lukee Forbes, and the Revolutionaries that's a part of this group. So get ready for a dynamic interview that is going to be life-changing. It's raw, straight cut, and really dives into the mindsets of our youth and talk about the issues that they face, the solutions that they have from their own mouths. Because how we going to actually change and better the youth if we don't engage with them? So get ready for a dynamic interview.
When they actually do enter the workforce, that they're able to soar, really find careers, and we're putting them in a pathway where they're not just looking for a 9 to 5. Like they're looking for careers, they're looking to create their futures, they're looking to lead in the workforce. So it's really trying to make sure that not only are we addressing the trauma, but our kids have an actual future.
Yeah, that's powerful, man. Because I definitely see that, and in my business, I've seen tons of youth come through those doors asking for employment with hoodies on, not looking me directly in my eyes, not even stating who they are, not stating their names, and not even shaking my hand and addressing me properly, and those things make a world of difference, no matter, and I tell them, I don't know if you do this everywhere you go, but if you're doing it here, these are the first steps. I want you to learn something and learn these soft skills, because this will put you leaps and bounds ahead of anybody that you're coming in competition with, knowing soft skills. Everybody might have hard skills. Everybody might know how to use a computer, might know how to code. But if you don't know how to have that one-on-one interaction with people in a positive way that leaves them knowing that you are bringing positive energy to the table, then you automatically are losing on the hard skill side, because that takes away, that's just a negative in the box of that goes against whatever other skills that you bring to the table. And the soft skills oftentimes surmount those hard skills, because if you can't present yourself in the right way, no matter what hard skills you have, you automatically get demoted, avoided, because of you not showing soft skills. So with that being said, I want to hear from y'all. Why are y'all a part of We Are Revolutionaries? What made y'all come into this organization? Absolutely.
What made me, my name is Kennedy, we're Revolutionary. What made me, be more interested in this organization is, new opportunities and building, a stronger environment, for the community around the area. And what we do is before an event we canvas so people can be more aware of what we're doing and stuff. And and what we really what we really want to work on is average childhood experiences, so kids in the community could not have trauma in their lives, and this youth organization can fix many problems the youth faces by creating peer advocates. So that's basically what we do and what I wanted to join.
No, that's awesome. Yeah. Anybody else want to speak to that?
My name is Adarius, and I'm a youth organizer with We Are Revolutionary. And being a part of We Are Revolutionary changed me and how I see my role in the community. And also the organization taught me how to help people, and also have ideas and bring your own ideas and bring change to the community.
I gotta go to this side of the room. Let me hear why y'all chose to be a part of We Are Revolutionaries.
Do you want to go first?
My name is Aaliyah. I'm a youth organizer with We Are Revolutionary. I started We Are Revolutionary when I was doing a summer youth program in 2024, and they didn't like how we was canvassing around the neighborhood and trying to spread the word about what we was doing for the community and like trying to make the buses free and everything, so kids won't have to pay for the bus or adults have to pay for the bus. So like they didn't like us doing that, so we all quit the summer youth program and came and joined We Are Revolutionary.
Got you.
My name is Zaraya. I joined We Are Revolutionary because I like the message and what they're doing for the community. I have 5 younger siblings, and the way that the world is going, I don't feel comfortable with them coming up in the environment that we're in. So me being as active as I can in their lives, I also want to be as active as I can outside of their lives, but still affecting them. So this was something I seen that could really like change the world. And that's why I wanted to be here.
Got you. What does it mean to be a revolutionary?
To me, what it means to be a revolutionary, it means to always lead and always make a positive change in your community, and always represent We Are Revolutionary everywhere you go.
Got you.
They're gonna make me blush.
To me, being a revolutionary is being somebody who fights against the norms, what they deem as normal, even if it isn't normal, and even if it isn't like positive. If it's not positive, you know, fighting against that and fighting for the people. Being a revolutionary is being a fighter, just being there, just wanting different and caring for the community, caring for your people. That's what
Being change agents.
Yes.
Yes, that's powerful. You guys are leaders of the future. Do y'all know that?
Yeah.
Yes.
So in that leadership role, how are you looking to impact your community from your young ages as you go through the different stages of whether it's education and your families, being brothers, sisters, whatever the case may be, and how are y'all looking to impact those different roles that y'all taking on as young adults or young revolutionaries?
We could start somebody that didn't go.
Some things that like we impact is maybe like changing the ways a lot of things are nowadays, because it's quite harsh on young people ourselves. Like we can get judged on for doing something that's typically normal. Yeah.
Why do you think that is?
I feel like a lot of older people, they kind of look us down because of some of the things we do, but they have to actually look on the past of what happened, of why we're like acting like this now. And so like they think it's maybe our generation or some of the things, but they also have to look on what they would do in their generation and some of the things that we had changed to make it better.
Got you. How can we go about like bridging that gap between the older generation and the younger generation so that y'all can actually communicate effectively and each voice gets heard so that, you know, it won't be a misunderstanding? Because I think like in most cases, you know, the issue is a lack of communication and you just seeing things from outward view looking in. And if I see you hand playing or something like that from across the street, I might perceive it as a fight, right? Whereas y'all might be over there and y'all playing. In my mind, y'all like two cubs, you know?
I want to add to that because it's funny you give that analogy, right? Because we literally just had a block party on Madison and Grand. And they were throwing water balloons at each other.
Right.
And someone called the police and told the police that there was a huge fight. All these kids were fighting on the block. And there was a cop that was sitting across the whole time that we were there that told us not to worry. He told the other patrols not to come, that it wasn't anything.
Right.
But it's just a simple fact that someone called the police when kids were outside having a water balloon fight. And you could clearly see kids throwing water at each other, laughing and giggling. But it's just the perceptions that we have right now in our community where people are unable to see a group of black kids
Right.
in their joy without there being violence involved. And I think in order for us to really have the conversations around bridging the gaps amongst community, it is getting rid of those biases before you even enter into the conversation. To believe that kids are unable to listen and hear is as if we're not the ones teaching them, right? Like, it's basically saying that we failed as the generation that was supposed to teach them how to learn, right? Because we never did that. If we're saying that we can't have a conversation with young people, because in most of the times, all these conversations are happening right now. Like, they're happening right now. The only difference is young people aren't involved in those conversations, right? So if we're, as adults, saying, how do we bridge that gap? It's not asking them, it's literally going to them and giving them the opportunity to then speak.
Right. Yeah, I think that's the most important piece right there. I think in a lot of cases, our adults and the older generation has this fear factor to it, where they don't want to engage with the youth for whatever reason, and they might have, ACEs and traumatic experiences that they've had that they didn't address. Therefore, they automatically foreshadowing those same trauma issues that they have onto the youth, and not really thinking like, hey, these are people too. They want to be spoken to, and once given the opportunity, if you speak to all the youth and engage with them, then you'll see that, hey, they soft as pudding pie, like, They want to hug, they want to be embraced, they want to be spoken to with respect, just like the older generation want to be dealt with and handled with respect. But the opportunity just has to be there for them to be engaged,
And even now, we're having the demonization of this generation's parents, right? This generation's parents, we have to also acknowledge that they grew up with parents who suffered from the crack epidemic, right? Like, we have the generations of parents whose parents were literally incarcerated because of the drug war. It's either their parents were affected due to the drug war from selling it, someone using it, just the poverty inherently around it, right? Like, we're not talking about a generation of parents who was raised correctly. We're talking about a generation of parents who raised themselves. And the people who are saying that we need to get these parents are their parents, right? Like, let's really look at the age factor of who's saying we need to get those parents, right? They are their parents that now, because their child is an adult, feels as if they're disconnected from the problem. But in all reality, that generation right there, it kind of led to what we're seeing right now. Like, that generation raised the baddies. Like, we have to but it's I'm not lying.
It's a real thing. It went through so many different phases. Like, you got trauma impacted parents dealing with trauma impacted kids, and you putting on so many different other factors. Like, I take into consideration, like, even just in my normal interactions with the youth, because I deal with the youth on a regular basis, is just like, y'all 5 years removed from COVID as well. Like, in my lifetime, I'm 46 years old at this point. Like, know what I'm saying? And I would have never thought in my life that I would have experienced a period of time where the world shut down. Know what I'm saying? And for y'all to experience that at such a pivotal time in y'all growth and development process impacted y'all tremendously, but probably more so than it impacted adults, because y'all was in y'all development stages. Y'all was either 12, 13, or maybe even in some cases even younger when y'all experienced COVID, whereas I was already an adult. So I was who I already was by the time I experienced that experience. But for y'all, it hit y'all in different ways. So I could just imagine, like, coming out of that, why we having so many adverse situations and violent situations that are existing in our communities, on top of the parent trauma issues and the kid trauma issues, and then you put COVID on top of that, coming out of that, and then all the other issues that we already was dealing with within our communities. How do y'all feel that those things have impacted y'all as being youth? Because I never had an answer out of anyone that actually experienced it from y'all age group.
All right. So during COVID, I was in, I think, 4th grade going to 5th. I was pretty young.
Yeah.
But it impacted me a lot because I missed half a year of school. I didn't know if I was going into 5th grade or not. I thought I was failing. I didn't go to no type of online class, nothing. And then it was like I had to wear a mask everywhere going to 5th grade. I was failing because I couldn't get proper assistance with less teachers, a bunch of kids, most in one big classroom, or sometimes we didn't even have a classroom. It was traumatic, and I think that's one of my aces that affected me.
Yeah, and I can see that because, you know, it dealt with a situation that we never dealt with before, you know, and like you said, you was in 5th grade at the time. That's, you know, humans are social creatures. We need that social interaction, and to be robbed of that for a whole year during your developmental stages is traumatic in and of itself.
I also seen a lot of, especially like our young boys, become comfortable behind the mask. Like they want to wear the face mask now as a point of style, right? Like they
absolutely.
don't want to show their faces. It's
Yeah.
like a lot. It's a lot there with the
Yeah,
mask,
yeah,
right?
absolutely,
Because
absolutely.
The
I'm
mask,
glad you mentioned that.
the mask allowed them to walk in neighborhoods that they typically wasn't because it hid their faces. So now they were able to just walk around without seeing the fear of an opposition, right? And it's something that they've now thrown into their style, their overall, whether it's a shiesty like an actual ski mask, or just even the nursing mask, right? Like they want to wear that because they feel a sense of comfort behind the mask of hiding their faces.
Yeah, and just to add to what you just said, it's really important for us to dive into that a little bit and to understand the mentality behind that and why because we went from a time, because as a black man, I'm like, I never thought that I would see a time where it was all right with me going into a bank with a mask on, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? On top of being black, right? So now, you know, I'm seeing our youth being removed from COVID. We several years removed from the requirement of wearing masks. And I still see, I was just coming from a meeting the other day, and I'm driving, hitting 2nd Ave, and I turned the corner, and I just made an observation. I seen 2 young ladies that I was calling them, they was dressing like sexy red. It's like 80, 85, 80, 86, 87 degrees. You know what I'm saying? It was close to 90, right? Two young ladies that were dressed comparable to a sexy red. And then I seen this young brother, teenage, hoodie on, ski mask. And I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, he can't be no more than 16, 17 years old, right? So that being the case, I'm like, what have you done in your life thus far that make you feel like you need a hoodie and a ski mask to walk to the store?
But it might not even be anything that they did. It might be something that they feel that because they hang out with a certain group, they just might be associated, right? So it is a sense of fear where our young people don't feel safe just walking around plain, right? And it's like a shield for them, right? Like they will wear the hoodie and the ski mask and all those things in 90-degree weather, right? Like regardless of it. And they'll do that because it makes them feel safe.
Right.
And I don't think that largely community understands that. Like we all know, like it might as well be a Halloween kit by now, right? Like when you see these kids wearing the exact same thing, right? And again, when we're thinking about like social norms and social influences, the music and the TV, this reality wave is also playing a big factor in that. but a lot of it is the fact that these kids are traumatized. We live in a very, 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 very small city. Even though Albany is big, it is the capital of New York State. Even though people forget that it's a capital city, 70% of our properties are owned by state and nonprofit organizations. Like, the small portion of the city that is actually livable for people who look like us, because this is also like the second segregated city in the country. When we're looking at that, these young people, they hear the stories. So they're still dealing with the same uptown, downtown. Even though it's a different uptown, downtown, they're still hearing the stories from 50 years ago.
Absolutely.
That scares them.
Absolutely.
They understand that this beef, when they say word to their deads, it's a long list of inherited deads. So every time they're saying that, they're replanting in their minds that people lost their lives because of the side of town I'm on.
Right.
So every time they're going outside with their friends and constantly reminding themselves that they're in a war zone actively. And I'm saying this, but I want to just remind folks that actual violence has dropped and is not as widespread as they think. These are congested violence, right? Like, these are congested incidents. These are isolated situations that people are being targeted, even though it may hit widespread.
Absolutely.
This is not as big as we think it is, but it is as big as we think it is. Because to these young people, all these same war stories that keep getting passed down, is real in their world. Right. It's real in their world. And it's going to remain real, especially as we encourage the next generation of beef through this without trying to address it for real, right? Like, there is a way to address it for real, because, again, Albany is 70% nonprofit and state organizations, right? That means there's only 30% of the properties here and stuff like that are owned by people. And then Albany is also made up of 65% renters, right? So the people who own their properties, they typically live in Buckingham, Whitehall, New Scotland. They don't live on 2nd Ave, 3rd Ave. Like, that's where the renters are. Like, we have absentee landlords, right? Like, we make up only a certain portion of this city. So for the amount of violence that we see happening in these congested spots, we know who we need to talk to, who we need to pull in. And it's just like making sure that those resources is allowed for an actual, like, healing to happen in Albany, right? Or we can continue to throw Band-Aids at it and say, like, hey, we got another basketball program. We got some free burgers today. Like, and that's going to heal a community, right?
And it definitely won't. It will just be a Band-Aid. And one thing I definitely want to point out, like, I see these same things occurring in most urban cities around the country. So not for nothing, Albany don't have a monopoly on this. And this is a systematic play that's happening, that's being acted out around the country. It ain't just in Albany. It just is impacting and affecting us because we're here in Albany, but make no mistake about it, it's going on in every urban city around the country. And this impact, this impact is happening all over the nation. And you touched on it, and I want to dive into that. What do we think outside of the COVIDs and us having the embedded fears of what happened before and even what's happening now? Because I look at it like it's like a plane crash. It might be the safest way to travel in the world, but when you hear of a plane crashing, you are automatically like, yo, I don't want to travel on a plane. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to fly on a plane. And the same thing is done when you think about the scenarios and the people, the violence that's taking place in our communities. Like, it's definitely happening, but the incidents are fewer than it used to be. And now that we seeing them, we still having those fear factors because, no matter where you go, it can definitely go down. But at the same time, what are we doing to prevent that, and what actions do you feel from a youth perspective that we need to be doing as leaders in our community to address the ills that's happening in our community?
Daryl?
So I feel like what we should do, like, to address these is just to sit down and have that open communication, because people are so, like, guarded. They had their guards up. If people came together and were just like, you know what, like, I understand what you're going through, what it is to be like this. Let's sit here and let's talk about it, because that's the only way we're gonna get anywhere. If we talk about it, we can have solutions. We can talk about solutions. We can give people resources to fix these problems. That's something we can start with, and then after that, give these people the help that they need. A lot of these problems are because of poverty. These people, they realize that they don't have what they need. So instead of buying the things that they need, they go in they front like they got more than they have. And then that's where people be like, you think you have more than me, so I'm going to act like I have more than you. And then that's where they're fighting, and that's where there's that disconnect. If we all came together and just realized, like, I'm poor, you're poor, I have roaches, you have roaches. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Let's do something about it, because it's not just us. It's more like it's systemic. If we realize how we can come together and we can, like, we can stop the people that are putting these actions and these laws in effect that are infecting us. But if we're not going to sit and have the conversation and we can't come together as a community, nothing is going to be changed.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
Absolutely. Anybody else want to speak to that? Oh, she just summed it up so well. Yeah, poverty is definitely a big issue, and we all understand that. You know, like, all of us have this mindset. Like, and it goes into so many different folds of how we view one another. We place our value on the outer versus the inner, and, you know, it could be it's something as simple as a pair of sneakers, and you like, yo, I got the new J's on or something like that, and that brings my status and my value up higher than another person. But in all reality, it's a depreciating asset. You know what I'm saying? And it really ain't gonna mean nothing, you know, in the grand scheme of things. And once we understand that on a larger scale, and that it's all about us versus me, then you'll be like, yo, you know, we could work together, we can communicate, old, young, in the middle, and we can find some solutions to the problems that we're facing.
Another thing that I think will kind of help with that is really because of poverty, we have a lot of scarcity and a scarcity mindset, as well as a poverty mindset. And as we go about addressing ACEs, it's trying to really break that down. And as we act local, we always think globally.
Absolutely.
To show folks that this is a pin point, right, to the rest of the world. Right. And when we're looking at that, right, because we also do an initiative where we're trying to help 100 people get their passports, right, our passport soirees. And with that, we hope that we're able to really widen people's minds to their access to the rest of the world. Right. Because so many people, and even our young people, right? Like, we're like, hey, we took folks to 5 different countries. How many of y'all want to go to other countries? In the beginning, a lot of them were like, whatever. Like, what's another country? Like, you know, can I go? I'm not going to be able to go, right? Like, it's already something that they're not even thinking about, right? Until the access is available. Right. Then their overall minds are like, the world is bigger than just my block. Right. And it allows us, especially when we take people over and we always join these solidarity groups with other organizations that are already over there, and show people, like, yes, our poverty is poverty. Like, people were broke, right? But poverty in Cuba is a different level of poverty, right?
Absolutely.
And that form of peer advocacy, because it's always about peers, supporting peers, right? Poor people supporting poor people. When you've been impacted in a way and you're working to heal someone else who also is impacted in a similar way, it completely opens your mind. So as we continue to try to make those experiences happen and real within this city of Albany, if we are able to continue to just get 100 people their passports each and every year, we're hoping that this capital, specifically those who live within the urban communities, will have a different outlook on the world than other folks in other urban communities, right? Because I'm just hoping with more people in Albany with their passports that they will use them, they will travel, right?
Absolutely.
And that aspect means that more people from around the world will meet someone from Albany.
Right.
They will see someone from Albany. They will build with someone from Albany, allowing Albany to have a bigger impact in the narrative of how they see people from New York State, but specifically how they see people from our community, the urban community, right? And as we continue to try to shift locally to really have an impact globally, we're hoping to really continue to break down that poverty mindset, that scarcity mindset, that mindset that we all can't make it together. Because in order for us to get there, we need to be together, right? Like,
yeah, ain't no I and we for sure. And that's big. That's huge. That's a huge campaign and agenda point that you are going on to bring these passports to all of our youth. At least we would love to see that happen annually. At least 100 youth get their passports.
It costs $14,800. We're in the United Way.
We'll be able to do that. No problem.
That's a bucket compared to what organizations do. And as we're trying to really show folks what liberation means, how are you free if you can't leave the country? Are you free if you just can't get up and go anywhere you want to, right? So if we're really trying to create freedom, giving someone that passport is that creating that ticket of freedom. We'll talk about the TSA pre-checks later. Right now, what we want to do is just get as many people as possible their passports so that we have a community filled of free people, right? And as we're looking at our world with like people like Jeff Bezos, I don't know if you're familiar, he stopped being the CEO of Amazon, right? And people ask why. Well, he said he stopped being the CEO of Amazon to create his new company, Blue Origin, which is supposed to be Uber to space, right? And as we're watching our actual leaders invest in people like Elon Musk, who is sending satellites to Mars, and like honestly, they're doing things that is too spacey for our kids to not be able to get on a plane to just go around this world. We have billionaires building Uber to space, but we can't send our babies to Africa. Like they can't see the motherland, right? So like it's just trying to keep these realistic things in these conversations as if this is where we need to move the initiatives.
Yeah. To paraphrase what you just said, man, the bigger picture is to make sure that we can move our mentality from a block mentality to a global mentality. And definitely traveling and going to see the world for our youth will open up so many different opportunities and options for y'all. How do you think that changing, having a passport would change your life individually as a young person existing in Albany, New York? Who I don't know if any of y'all have traveled outside of the country, but how do you think that will impact you if you had that opportunity?
I think it'll impact me if I had the opportunity was like see different things, not see like New York, see different places like Africa, Puerto Rico, like different places. You get to see how they live in their normal day than what we do, since it's a lot of people there, but it's a lot of people here too.
Absolutely.
So, like just see like different things that they like to do, try different foods, like like just adventure.
Right.
It's different opportunities, different places.
Right.
Okay.
Me, I feel like I like to camp. I want to go camping. I like watching people do camping, and like I like to watch people travel around the world. So like them traveling around the world, and they got their passport. Well, some of them have their passport. So like if I get my passport, I could do what they do. and like vlog, travel the world, go to like different parts of Alaska, camping in there, and going different parts of the woods and camping like all around the globe.
Yeah.
That's
That'd
amazing.
be amazing. Yeah, that'd be amazing.
We had we were trying to send Liz to North Korea. There was some issues around getting her passport, but we wanted to really make sure that she had an opportunity to go over there.
Okay.
Can I go? Well, for me, I have my passport. I just haven't had the funds to go anywhere. But like, I want to be able to like see different like forms of nature because it's different everywhere. Like, you know, some places they have certain fruits there, and then they have certain vegetables there, and you know, bodies of water everywhere that are like just better, and see how these people are living in their way of life. Because a lot of people, they live, you know, even though they're not the richest, you know, they still live with no problems. You feel me? Like, they can pay their rent and go on these expeditions, and they're doing great. And it's just to be able to see that and be able to at least get a little taste. You feel me? A little freedom. It would be really nice.
Yeah. Is the just, you know, based on what you were just saying, is the quality of their lives versus the quantity. They have so much more and they have less if you know, compare it to our standards that's here in America, or even more specifically in New York and Albany, what we compare or see as having a lot. They have less, but they have so much more, and they happy with the things that they already have, and I think that that's a big part of seeing the world, because it opens up your mind to those different things. You start seeing the world differently.
And I feel like it's like different because some places like have mad rules. Like North Korea, they have mad rules. Like, you can't be on your phone at a certain time. You have to like hang up the president in your house, or something's gonna happen. And it's like different, but yeah. Like,
why do you think that is? And do you think that is a positive or a negative thing?
I think that's a positive and negative thing because they're in control of the people, so they won't do anything. Like in America, they just do anything. Like they have laws, but they don't have like enough to keep the violence away and stuff. But yeah. And like North Korea and South Korea is way different. Like South Korea has lights, they have all of that. Like you could walk around at night, you're safe, and yeah.
Got you. So having those restrictions, do you think that having restrictions on the phones and having restrictions on certain things that the people can and cannot do helps with lowering the violence and actually stabilizing the culture of the way the people interact?
Yes, but at the same time, it's a little intense because people still have family, people still have stuff to do, and like not just like it looks like a military out there, like from what I saw.
So I'm looking forward to you going out there as well, so that you can stay for a little while and absorb the culture. That would be great, because one of the things that I want to say as well is not only do our community need the passports, but we also need the resources to send our children to these different places around the world, because the passport is only one step in the right direction. You have that passport. We also need the resources that's necessary to send our star children, our children that will benefit greatly from traveling all over the world. And you know, once you go and experience it firsthand, you might have a different outlook on you know, the rules and regulations that they have and actually how they operate, being that your mind is already open to going over there and you have your perspective from the outside looking in. But once you look from the inside looking out, you might be able to be like, yo, I actually think that this is a good way to, you know, have the people and the government to operate. So you don't know until you go.
Like when we went to Cuba, you know, you hear so many stories about Cuba, right? And until you get over there and you step foot, you don't really realize how much the American blockade really has an effect on Cuba until you get over there. And then you start to actually see the lack of resources. You start to see the fact that they still have the old school 70 cars driving around, that there's really not too many up-to-date cars and things like that. And that's not because people aren't willing to ship them. It's because if they ship them over there, you can't dock anywhere where America has allies with for the over like I think it's like 120 days, right? So for a company that makes their living off of shipping cars and stuff like that, you're going to not ship to Cuba.
Right.
And when you really see how the Cuban people still love Cuba, and I agree, like when you have like free healthcare, when you can send your kid to become a doctor to school for free, right? Like when you are invested in the betterment of your world, like, you know, they were sending Cuban doctors to Africa to help when COVID, right?
Yes.
Like Cuba has a vaccine for lung cancer and foot ulcers. So we still are cutting diabetics' foot off. And they have a vaccine for that. And it's 98% accurate, right? So like when we're watching the investment in medical science over here, but we're spending our taxpayer dollars on leveling out Gaza, so people like our president can talk about how beautiful of a shore that is. It kind of is nerve-wracking coming from a developer, right? Like our president is a developer. So when you have developers talking about how beautiful of a landscape Gaza is and ignoring the people who are dying there, right? Like it just shows the difference of a government and the difference of priorities and investing in people versus investing in like, you know, colonialism and colonization and genocide. It just the mindset is so important. And everywhere I've been around the world, Panama, Africa, Cuba, everyone is more the social economic relationship people have, right, is way more friendly, right? Like down to the dude that is on the beach collecting shells in order to sell, to the person who is running around running businesses. The way that they socially engage with everyone is completely different than what we see over here.
Right.
So it is important that our young people are exposed to culture.
Absolutely.
And we're trying every single way that we can to make sure that they have a global mindset. Like they want to learn about other cultures and other things.
Right.
While we also try to just get that first step, getting their passports, as we still look to partner with other organizations to actually get them over into these spaces.
Absolutely. Absolutely. With that being said, as we get ready to wrap things up, from your youth perspective, what is one thing that as adults, as parents, as leaders in the community, whether it's the politicians, whether it's the police or anybody that's out there, if you had one thing to say to them that would actually change and better your lives, what would you have them do or start action steps towards making happen that would actually improve and better your lives?
I would say like listening to the youth more and having more like youth programs like We Are Revolutionary that helps youth and also helps the community.
I could also say just talking to us, getting to know, stop judging, especially because y'all judge off of things that we started to do to make our lives better. Y'all just don't see like the difference because y'all grew up a different way.
That as well. Like, I feel like y'all need to sit there and have a conversation in a room full of youth and consider things that we say that y'all did in the past is wrong, that we are trying to change ourselves, but y'all see the change and y'all like, this is different. We need to fix that and make it right. No, y'all need to sit here and look at our change and move forward with it.
I need an example.
Maybe like the raise your age law that we have. like instead of putting all teens who committed a regular crime into federal or adult prisons, consider, did this crime come from their background, or are they really just out here with the intent to cause violence or cause harm to other people, and take a step back from trying to put more youth into like incarceration and sit here and put us in our community and find ways to better us and raise us better.
Yeah, I think that's a key factor, and I definitely want to add on to that before you say your piece, because I know what you have to say is definitely very important. I want to hear your voice. But I was myself incarcerated as well, and it wasn't raised the age. I was in jail with adults, and I had to go through that whole process with the adult system. I ended up doing 3 years myself of incarceration, and it was taken from a perspective of punishment more so than correction. And what I get from what you're saying is, with the raise the age, it's important to keep things the way they are and to continuously improve upon and refine raise the age so that we can best address what's going on with our youth and not take it from a perspective of punishment, and do it from a perspective of reform and addressing the traumas that they're dealing with so that they can come out better and be productive citizens in this world. So I think that that's a key factor, and I'm glad that you brought that up.
I just want to shoot out that it really doesn't need to raise the age itself, doesn't need to be modified, because right now it's already in there for like certain cases to have that consideration of the youth. However, we need it to actually be implemented in a way where the money does go into creating those types of wraparound programs, and funding those wraparound programs so that we can continue to do this type of work with young people. Right now, there's about $980 million that is still sitting in the state, and about 1.5 like is what the number originated out. So counties have been pulling in. Right now, Albany County still has $40 million within our kitty for raise the age funds, right? To help prevent kids who may have skipped school, ended up on probation, or may have stolen something and ended up on probation. It's supposed to give them opportunities, like let's say like a workforce development type of opportunity where they can work as peers, right? To help stop other peers from getting in these types of issues.
Absolutely. And from what I see, you know, the youth want to work.
They want to work.
They want to make money.
Yeah.
So, you know what I'm saying? We just got to give them the opportunities, man. So that's very important. If the money is there, allocate it to the right places and give us the resources that we need to provide jobs for our youth and to keep them off the streets.
I would say, like, stopping homelessness, like less homelessness, but like not just shelters, like lowering rent so people could like actually afford to get a house. Because shelters are like, I don't know, I feel like they're dangerous in some ways because it's not a home. Like, you want a home, not a shelter. But shelters are good too. It should be more of that too. And more jobs, people to like actually make money and stuff and provide for their families.
Absolutely.
Go ahead.
My phone died, so like I kind of forgot, but I think I remember off the top of my head. But I wanted to say, like, we're not just the future, we're also the present. So like things that we do now, y'all say that we're grown and we're adults now, or some of y'all say that we're grown and we're adults now, then if we are, then let us be that. If you feel like we're grown and adults, invest in that. Like, help us get to the point where you want us to see us thrive in life and have a good life, and like not always being like the violence in the streets and stuff, how some of the kids is and stuff like that.
What I have to say to the adults and the parents and everybody in that genre, I would really just say, let your guard down, for one. Let your guard down. Read the 4 agreements and take accountability. That's really it. That's all it takes. Let your guard down, take accountability.
Yes.
And the 4 agreements.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Well, we're going to end on that note. It was another motivation, money making Monday, where it's not about the day, it's about the mindset. We heard it here from the youth. We heard it here from Lukee Forbes, the founder of We Are Revolutionaries. And we here, we going to move forward. We going to continuously move in the right direction, doing positive things, impactful things in our community. And we going to work directly with the youth because, yes, y'all are the present and the future. So let's continue to build, y'all. Peace.